Promise you.
But you guys, the wait is over.
Yes.
The wait is over. The Blonde Misfit is in the building.
Yes.
So check this out, you guys. We're going to go to a quick break, all right? But when we come back, we're going to be here.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Cosmo Vision Morning Show. We are very excited, right, Cosmo?
Why wouldn't we be? We got
Like
the Blonde Misfit in the building.
We have the Blonde Misfit in the building, and we just let her tip her feet in the water a little bit and get. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Yo, I'm so hyped, you guys. It's my first time in Jersey. It has definitely been
A roller coaster in regards to travel.
Yeah,
A welcoming experience.
A welcoming experience. But yo, I'm so happy to be in the building, and I'm so happy to be here.
Now listen, the Blonde Misfit, that's a unique name. Before we go into what you do, why the Blonde Misfit?
So, for those of you guys who have never met me, I do have blonde hair. I've been a bodacious blonde since the 11th grade in all facets of hairstyles.
And it looks beautiful on you.
Thank you. Thank you. But I don't know. I guess my whole life I've always felt out of the box, different, not ordinary. And I used to hide behind that. I used to really be someone who thought that it was disadvantageous to myself. And as I've gotten older, as I have found myself, and as I've become more comfortable with who I am, I have found that that's actually what makes me unique. And so the misfit term is actually a flip, whereas instead of it being a negative connotation behind it, we're celebrating those things that make you different.
Nice, nice. You have a wonderful resume. You actually came from Yahoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, was a content coordinator. Am I saying that right?
I did a lot of hats. I did a lot of hats there. So I was helping run our social media division, working with our audience development team, as well as doing content production over our lifestyle and entertainment verticals. And so that was everything from style, beauty, celebrity, entertainment. Also dipped and dabbled in finance and news too.
So that was huge to make a transition from the corporate sector, going into entrepreneurship. There's a lot of people who have great jobs, you understand, but they have entrepreneurial ambitions, but you made a leap because you believe so much in yourself. How did you do that? Like, where did that come from?
Man, I think my whole life has just been a series of interesting events that have just worked out in my favor. I found, so about a year and a half ago, that's when I really started to do the groundwork in myself and started to say, I really want to make work that not is just good work or that pays well, but work that resonates with people in a unique and beautiful way. And of course, you want a dollar sign attached to that, right?
Yes, of course.
But I soon found that I was getting the dollars, but I wasn't getting the gratitude. I was going to bed every night and I was stressed. I was having anxiety. I didn't feel like my work was making a difference. And as a young African American woman, I feel like right now more than ever our voices need to be heard. And so the entrepreneurial dream honestly kind of came at a price where I had to start sacrificing a lot of other things, like the financial stability, the comfort levels, certainly the hours of sleep. But I go to bed every single night much more fulfilled, much more proud of the work that I get to do, knowing that I'm actually touching real people, real lives, and really making a difference in our community.
So do you feel as though being successful, you have to go through the people do hate uncomfortable positions, but I feel as though personally, in order to be successful, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable places. And you were in an uncomfortable place, transitioning from DC to New York. I would like for you to tell us that story. Like, how did that come about, you coming to New York? Because you're actually from DC.
Yes, born and raised DC girl. If we have any DC listeners out there.
What college you went to?
Howard University.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
I gotta rep the real HU, but we won't stir no tea today. But so I went to Howard. I've always loved the theater. I've loved the arts, and I originally was going to go to school to pursue a musical theater career, and I talked myself out of it, honestly, even though the arts are still very much so a part of who I am today. And so instead, I decided I wanted to go into the journalism route. our School of Communications weren't taking any more applications, and so I became an English major. Fun fact, I'm also a classics major, so I can read ancient Greek.
Ooh,
Which is a fun, I loved Greek mythology so much and learning about Greek gods and stuff like that. And so I just took enough classes that it just ended up having enough for another major.
Nice.
But thanks. So I graduated and I knew I wanted to get into writing, but the Washington writing scene is very much so politics driven. The discussion of race is a little different. And I was working as a fact checker, making $9 an hour, calling up politicians on the Hill every day and fact checking things like homicide, rape, embezzlement. And I would come home and I was stressed out. I was like,
I can imagine. It sounds stressful.
I was like, this isn't for me.
That's hectic.
This isn't for me. And I remember specifically we had written a story one day, and it was about a Black Lives Matter protest that had happened in the city, but the story had been flipped, and so it was kind of making like the movement and the organization kind of being the antagonist instead of being responsive to what had happened. And at that moment, I realized that I couldn't do that anymore. And so between that, I had started The Blonde Misfit at that point. Really, it started as a writing portfolio because I was getting a lot of places in New York weren't giving me the time of day because they were like, well, you haven't held 80 million internships and none of my friends can vouch for you. It's a very inclusive industry, the fashion and beauty industry. And so The Blonde Misfit started that way. I started interning with different places. That's where I started interning with Fashion Blonde Daily. And I would come up to New York twice a month, save up all my money, and I was interning and I was shadowing people who I could, anyone who would just give me the time of day. And so pretty much around I would say maybe about May 2016, that's when I started to really put in the groundwork that I said, it's time to go. It's time to move. And honestly, I woke up one day like 2 weeks out of August, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna move to New York. And I came home and I told my parents and I told my boyfriend, and they were just like, do you really have a plan in place? I was like, nope. And I was like, but you know what, it's all gonna have to work out. So we packed up my boyfriend's car with whatever we could, and I moved up to the Bronx, and I stayed up in a house with very little AC. I slept on the couch, and every single day I would get up and I would go to the city with a duffel bag, which is my real clothes, find a Starbucks in the city, change my clothes, and I would go out and I would pass my resume out to anyone who would give me the time of day.
You talking about a faith walk, you guys.
That's hustle.
Yeah, but it was rough. Like it was rough, and you know, you pay your dues like that for like 4 months, and that's when I kind of landed on my feet. I was taking a lot of freelance jobs, and then, you know, we were having layoffs and issues and stuff like that, and so then continuing to move. But I always stayed grounded in my faith that if I continue to put in the work and the time, that God would allow me to bless people with The Blonde Misfit, and now we're here.
I felt as though that's captivating also, that we all three of us on this platform share the same faith belief. All three of us are Christians, and without God, you know, nothing is possible. Nothing is possible. But why media, though?
I think that media is so powerful. Like, media can be broken down into anything. It can be like your radio. It can be whatever you've seen on YouTube. It can be social media. I think to myself all the time about the power that social media had in the election of our first black president. Like, you know, people don't think about how much the millennial vote is, and I say vote as in the political vote, but also our vote of mind. And so I feel like if you can reshape media, you can reshape the dynamic and the structure of how people think. And so that's what The Blonde Misfit hopes to do by reintroducing to us what we see in the fashion industry, what we see in the beauty industry, what we see in the entertainment industry, and adding to that diversity and advocating for everyone to have a seat at the table.
I like it. Fashion and beauty.
You know, it's funny because we spoke this morning on the Bishop Z show. We use the pregnancy as an analogy, and you know, they say the first trimester you go through the sickness, the vomiting. Second trimester it doesn't get any better, but when you go through it all and you see the beauty of it, and you just saying all of that, me and my dad just look at each other and was like, that was your pregnancy of you moving from DC into New York, not knowing anything, not knowing anyone, but you persevered through your first trimester, your second trimester. Now you're seeing your product, your baby, you know, come alive, and you're looking at it, you're stepping back. Now you can say, that was good. How do you feel about that?
Yo, it's actually hilarious that you say that, because I refer to the Blonde Misfit as my baby all the time. And it's so funny because literally, like, I'm not a mom yet, but
Right.
like I think about, like, okay, I remember the first months when I'm just cradling you and I have to nurture you, got to give you all this extra time and attention. And now, and then I remember I started seeing her cry. And I'm like, that crying stage where you're like, why are you requiring so much attention? And it's just like, oh, the stressful nights, all the long moments and everything. But now it's like, I feel like she's starting to talk or do that little baby babble where she's starting to say her first words. And you're like, you know what? It all was worth it. And I'm proud to just watch you and see. Because what's funny is the Blonde Misfit, I never in a million, if we had had this conversation even a year and a half ago, I would have never thought that it would be where it's at now or what it's doing now. And I think that that is what a parent feels like. You know, you envision what your child will look like, but you also have to give them the space to be who they are. And that's exactly what I'm giving the Blonde Misfit. I'm just letting it grow and blossom and just do what it does. And it's beautiful.
I feel as though there are two key principles that, not just two, but there are multiple principles that successful entrepreneurs follow. What are some of the principles that you follow that allow you to maintain your success as an entrepreneur?
I would say the first thing I do is get out of that comparativeness. I think that it is a detriment to a lot of people, and it's crazy because I think social media plays a big role in that. For an achievement, my family and friends can tell you I'm already on to the next thing. Like, I give myself a second, and that's one thing I'm also learning how to do, take the time to really celebrate the wins, because you always will be in the mindset to keep going and keep going and keep going, but I have to make time every single day to stop, meditate, and thank God for where I'm at right now in my life. And yeah, like, it's just amazing to see how the Blonde Misfit continues to grow and blossom. And I have literally, this is another thing back to the pregnancy thing. I was christened and I was given back to Christ, and in a way I've given the Blonde Misfit back to him as well. So I've given it back to him to say that whatever it is that you see fit to do, let it be. And I think that ministry comes in multiple ways. We talked about this a little earlier. Ministry doesn't just have to be behind a pulpit. Ministry can be anything that you do in your art, and if it's in God's vision and if it's in God's will, anything can be used for ministry.
Authenticity. How important is that for your brand?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. It's actually funny because a large component of the Blonde Misfit actually comes from career development and entrepreneurship. And a lot of people hit me and are like, yo, I want to know how to do this, how to do that, how to step out of my element, how to be more comfortable in myself. And I have to just be authentic. You know what I mean? I don't want to dress it up and make it cute, make it pretty or whatever, because that's not what it was. And I think that by selling people false dreams, it creates false expectations. False expectations then lead to disappointment. So instead, you go into the mindset that this is what I'm about to go through, this is what's about to occur, but I know that when I come out on the other end, it's going to be beautiful.
What do you mean you don't want to dress it up and make it pretty? It is dressed up and it's pretty.
It is.
And it looks beautiful because I watch you, I follow you on Instagram, so I see, like, in the mornings you get your makeup together. And you do. And I think that's dope because for young women coming up, their mom may not be into makeup, but they want to get into it, so they can actually follow you and watch how you prepare in the morning, to get started for the day. So I think that's very unique what you do, and I like that because you're being original. I haven't seen anybody else. I think I've seen a few people do it, but not the way you do it. The way you do it. That's why I feel as though authenticity is very important. I see the authenticity in your business.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it always is very important to me, and I have always told myself that if it ever were to get to a point where I'm no longer authentic to myself, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because to me, the dollar bill isn't worth it. And I've had to actually already start denying brands and certain sponsorships and different things because it's not in alignment with my goals.
How is that? Denying it, because right now we're at the beginning stages and we're blossoming. So when these companies come for sponsorships, you don't want to deal with anybody that's going to compromise your brand. How do you deal with making that tough decision not to?
It's actually funny because I don't think it's tough. I think the only thing that's tough about it is then trying to figure out when's my next paycheck come. They're going to come in with the Blonde Misfit, because I do spend more than I make, but I'm willing to make that. But I'm willing to make that investment. I truly believe that if I honor myself and honor the brand and continue to stay authentic to those that I partner with, that my audience will continue to grow, they will continue to support, and that the right brands and the partnerships will come. They will come, and I know that because I'm stepping out on faith and believing that they will. So if something comes and it's not in alignment, I don't gotta stress it.
No, you are empowered, you are successful, and you're coming up. How important is having an accountability partner, in your journey?
Accountability partners are extremely important. Extremely important, because I think to myself, you can't do it alone. They say it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes 2 villages to raise an entrepreneur, because you will talk yourself out of it. You will talk yourself out of any endeavor that you want to do. Sometimes you'll actually get yourself in a state of complacency even when you don't think you are. But accountability partners are important, because if you don't have them, they will justify and they will accept you being mediocre. And I don't want anyone in my life who is going to hold me to a mediocre standard.
Nice.
I love it.
I mean, you're in here dropping them jewels.
Keep dropping them.
You want to run?
We're going to run. We're going to come back.
Okay, we're going to run into music real quick.
For me, one of the biggest things that I took was that even if you do not have the necessary technical experience of something, make it happen. I remember I walked in there and I already had the website and everything, but I really wanted to dabble into video. I really wanted to start the YouTube channel, and I remember I just kept talking myself out of it, because I'm like, I don't know anything about video production, I don't know how to shoot, I don't know how to edit, blah blah blah. And I just started thinking to myself, yeah, but you're just making excuses. You're making excuses, and excuses just waste time. And so one day I literally just sat down and I shot the video, and I just practiced, and I practiced on my iPhone, I practiced on my computer. And now I've put myself on a calendar so that I can continue to groom my craft. Well, anything you want, you have it already. Take it. And that's something that I also put out to entrepreneurs, because I think to myself now, there is no reason, there's no excuse why you can't start with what you got. If you're ready to do a podcast, you got a phone. You can, the audio on an iPhone is dope. Go out and, shoot on the 7 Plus if you're trying to get into photography. You know what I mean? Like the little things until you can start making those bigger investments. And
plant those seeds.
Yeah, is able to teach me the art of research, which is very, very important. I unfortunately think that the blogging industry nowadays is getting to a point where a lot of people are just opinion writers, and opinion is beautiful, but if you can back it up with facts, research, and numbers, then I think that you actually establish credibility as a writer. For me, honestly, I like to write how I talk, and if I'm talking to somebody, and if I'm trying to do something with what I'm trying to discuss, sometimes you don't have to make it sound so Oxford and extravagant and everything. Just break it down for what it is, and evade it to somebody like that. And I think for me, my audience has really been able to grasp that. They're able to understand it, and that's what kind of separates me from other bloggers and influencers and journalists. And so I'm really happy that you said that.
I mean, it's the truth. I went on there and I read like a few stories, a few of your posts in like one setting, and I'm like, wow, she's such a great writer. Like, I took every English class there could have taken in college. Like, I could have actually graduated with an English major too. But I learned while in college that writing is so fun, but you have to understand it first, So when I went on there and I'm like, you're so good at what you're doing, and then I'm seeing everything coming to life for you, because like I said, we met last year sometime, I believe. You were hosting a panel back, and now I'm learning that was your first experience doing that.
Yeah,
she handled it like a champ, though. You would never know. You are the person you want to become.
You are the person that you want to become, and I believe that you become that person by continuous practice and how you manage your time. So that first panel that we did, it was a celebrity panel, and that's what I say, sacrifices, man, because that same weekend was when at the time President, who's still my president, Barack Obama, was speaking at Howard University, and I had tickets to go for graduation, and I said, nah, I'm gonna stay here and do the panel. And so I handled the panel by doing all my research on the people that were going to be in attendance, and it established credibility on my behalf, because everybody's always looking at the people on the panel, but they never looking at the moderator, when actually the moderator has the most important job, because you're literally just doing crowd control. I was glued to you mostly. I must be honest, like glued to you, because you're controlling the tempo of how things go, and being a radio host as I am, that's what
you need to be. You have to be able to be in control of the moment and the situation. So I keyed into you more, and I think I learned more from you. Not to say there wasn't a lot of information given out, but you were more in the realm of where I wanted to be.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that's what's important. Like, you know, I always want to be able to be someone who somebody could be like, yo, like I see myself in her. Or because I know that she can do something, I have the strength and the confidence now to be able to do it myself. But, you know, that was just kind of my dibble and dabble into doing moderation. And like now I'm getting into much more on camera personality work, media work. And it's so crazy because as a writer, I have always been behind the camera, behind the camera or behind the scenes. And now I'm stepping in front of it. And it's just like this whole new thing. So it's like now that's what I'm saying. Like my baby wants to talk and she wants to do all these things because I never in a million years would have thought that the Blonde Misfit would become a media brand and actually be something more than just words on paper.
Yo, that's crazy because once you activate the thing that you want to do, other doors start to open. You know, and that's funny because I was actually at a networking event yesterday and they were speaking about that. They said, yo, I started out just as an artist. Now I'm designing for celebrities. Now I am dressing celebrities. All you gotta do is just put your foot in the game. Just put your foot in the water. Now I want you to encourage someone who's listening who may have an entrepreneurial, dream. They want to be an entrepreneur, but they have a 9-to-5, but they scared of taking that leap. I understand it's very challenging because you have all your securities, 401k, you have your pension, you have your health benefits. So it's kind of hard to take that leap into entrepreneurship, but you did it. So what could you say to the young lady or young man that's listening who want to start their business, but they're afraid to leave their 9-to-5? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, first thing I would say is don't stop whatever that side hustle is. Really break down those 24 hours that you have in a day and see how much time you're spending at your 9-to-5, how much time you're spending on extracurriculars, and how much time you're spending on the side hustle. Continue to build, continue to network, because your network is very, very, very important. I would also say that I can completely understand why people don't want to take the financial plummet, because it's extremely hard, especially when you're like living in like New York or
And you
DC.
have families.
Yeah, and you got a family, or you have something extraneous financial wise. But what I would say is, wherever you're at right now, if you know that you want to eventually move into entrepreneurship, start putting that plan into place now. I know for myself, I spoke it into existence long before I even thought. Lord, I'm ready to take the step. Lord, when it's time, it's time. And he expedited my mission. I thought I had much more time than he gave me, but it happens. And so if you saying like right now, today, I'm ready to take this step, start putting money away on a nest egg. Stop going, that Starbucks coffee that you want. I say that as I have my Starbucks here, but whatever.
Is that a triple shot?
Look, it's been a long one. Your Starbucks coffee, or like anything that you can kind of find because dollars and pennies add up.
Yeah, they do.
Put them all to the side and make those investments, and make that investment in yourself, whether it's getting equipment or being able to go to the conferences. I know for myself, I saw someone on Instagram, won't put a name out there, but I saw someone on Instagram that I really wanted to network. I wanted to get myself in her face and introduce myself. And so I followed her on social media. I continued to send her emails, which she didn't reply to. But that's okay, because when you're super busy, sometimes you don't, get a chance to. And I remember this one day, she said, I'm going to be at this event today at 5 p.m. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got on the train and I spent my money, and I got there and the event got canceled and I didn't know. So I waited for 3 hours outside of the venue waiting. And as soon as I was about to leave, she walks out because she had, I guess, gone over to get like whatever for the event planning and everything like that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I like introduced myself, did my best 30-second pitch. And now she and I are very good friends to this day. And where she serves as like somewhat of a mentor to me. And I'm just saying, like, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? And when the time is right, when the money is right and everything like that, just step out on faith. If it's really for you and if it's really meant to be, then it will be. And one of the biggest things my father always taught me was that if you try and it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you gotta go about it a different way next time. So there's no such thing as failure if this is really what you want to do. I'm a very outspoken person about things I believe in and myself, and I'm not cutthroat, but I'm very to the point and like
Get to it. You, like you said, you don't sugarcoat anything.
Nah.
Get right to it. Man, we appreciate you for being here. We really do. Let the people know where they can find you. Your social media handle.
Yeah, y'all. So check me out once again on Instagram, TheBlondeMisfit. That is TheBlondeMisfit. Also, the website, TheBlondeMisfit.com. And if you go to my Instagram or to the website, you will see that the YouTube channel is launching very, very soon. And it'll be under the same handle. So, yeah, The Blonde Misfit all together. Yeah.
Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it.
Yeah.
And you guys, 3 minutes. We have Mr. Eric Dawson, who's going to be next. Oh, man. I don't know what he has in store for us, but he always dropping them jewels regardless of what's going on in our community and in our school systems. So please, please make sure you keep it here on mysplashradio.com. So what's next for you? Besides tomorrow.
What's next, man? Whatever God has for me, honestly, at this point. We have Fashion Week coming up very, very soon in New York. And so we'll be working on that. We just finished Afropunk here in Brooklyn, and so we're working on that, and also just getting this media brand up, getting registered as an LLC very, very soon, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot more panels as a speaking. I've got a few keynotes coming up, so
you busy.
I'm a busy.
I love it. I love it.
I am a busy woman. I am.
And she's young too, y'all. I'm telling you, young. So if she can do it, y'all can do it. Just get up and do it.
And most deaf.
Words of encouragement to the people that are listening before we get out of here.
Oh, yes. Words of encouragement. Always keep God first, honestly. Practice self-care. And anything that you do, always show up 100%.
You hear that, you guys? This is the Cosmo Vision Morning Show.